Hello, this is Simona Rich, and something happened to my microphone. I put new battery in, but for some reason it's not working, so I'm going to record like this, my voice, and hopefully you will hear me well. I have so much to share in this video. Please watch if you have anything wrong with your thyroid, or if you have some autoimmune disease, because I will tell about not only unknown medical physical causes of these diseases, but also about spiritual causes. So basically I was right in supplementing with estrogen, but that wasn't addressing the main issue that I had, which caused low estrogen, and that was thyroid problem. And I had thyroid problem since birth. You can see that I have thyroid that is already prominent. It's kind of enlarged a little bit, and I had it since birth. And the reason I had it since birth, because I was born when the atomic disaster happened, and my mother was so afraid that I would get some kind of deformity as a result of that atomic explosion, but I did not get anything as such except for the thyroid. So I got my blood tests done, and I'm going to show them to you, but I'm not going to show the address of the lab because I'm now in that area, so I just want to keep my location private for safety reasons. So I'm going to not show the logo and the address of that lab, but I'm just going to show that I did the test. And it basically shows that my T3 is okay, normal, my T4 is normal, but my TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, is very low. It's not like super low, but it's low, definitely low. And that wasn't surprising. I knew I had a thyroid problem, but it was not causing any problems for me at all, except from the age of 30, I started experiencing slight problems. And since I'm all for prevention of diseases, I know that I have to do something about it now, because if I wait, I'm not getting younger. So after maybe 30 years, when I'm 60, for example, and I'm losing energy, this problem can really increase and cause troublesome life. So I'm all for prevention. So I'm going to do things that I can in order to prevent this problem. So most people have hypothyroid, and this disease affects most women, much more women. I think I heard 7 times as much women as men, as many women as men. So this is a female problem, and most women would have hypothyroid, and very few will have hyperthyroid. So I have hyperthyroid, and the spiritual cause is to do with the throat chakra. The reason most women suffer from hypothyroid is because in the past, female voice was totally suppressed. So many females even now find it hard to assert themselves, to express what they really want, to just tell what they really want to tell, and they live unhappily under the rules imposed on them, even in the Western world. Like, women do what boyfriends tell them to, and so forth. They have children, although they don't want to, and this causes stagnation of the energy in the this chakra, throat chakra, and it can manifest as hypothyroid. Now, hyperthyroid is the opposite problem. Is when you are too much asserting yourself, and that is, if I have this problem, it means that this is the problem for me. And people would think it's not a problem. You're just telling what you want, but it's again another extreme, and we should live in the middle way, and don't go to any extreme. So this is an extreme, and this is therefore something that I have to work on. And straight away when I understood the spiritual reason, that was so much reaction within. I knew this is something I have to work on, and it's going to be so difficult. And another reason, spiritual reason for hyperthyroid, is that you are trying to do everything fast. You are rushing. You are going against time. You are trying to accomplish things very quickly, and so you miss being in the present moment. So that's another possible cause for hyperthyroid. And also another cause is that you want to be in control of every aspect of your life, and that is a problem, because then you don't allow the universe to control life for you. So this is again something for people with hyperthyroid to be aware of, because firstly, spiritual causes must be addressed. Otherwise, you may do things physically that would prevent the manifestation of the disease, but the root cause will still be there. So these are the spiritual reasons for hyperthyroid. So I'm going, and also another reason is just knowing when I work on myself, I know things that I need to work on, and I know that this is connected to hyperthyroid, is that the energy is kind of, it's not focused, but it's kind of like Aries energy. You do everything fast, but you don't really look much at the details, and there is no organization. Like even now, it's so interesting what I'm going to tell you. It's like I have this inspiration to make this video now, and I put on the camera and I start making this video. Yet there is no organization, so everything is scattered. So I just straight away wanted to make this video now, but I thought, okay, this is the problem that's causing hyperthyroid as well. I need to manage the energy. I cannot just allow, for me to do everything that I want straight away upon inspiration, but I have to organize everything, organize the material, do everything in a consistent way. So what I did, I stopped. I prevented myself from making the video straight away, and I collected the data from the sources that I was researching, so that I present everything in as much consistent and organized manner as I can. So that's what I did, and you know what happened? Straight away the energy left. And what happens with hyperthyroidism is that people have too much energy. They can't even sleep. And this is the problem for me. I don't sleep for a long time. At 6 a.m. in the morning, I fall asleep, and then I wake up at 12, something like that at the moment. So I work all night. I have so much energy, yet when I started listening to the, applying, trying to eradicate the spiritual cause of hyperthyroidism. And so I sat down and slowly wrote down everything that I wanted to say in an organized manner. Straight away the energy left. So that means I'm already balancing the situation. I will be able to sleep in a better way. So the spiritual cause, it's so important to address the spiritual cause. So now I'm going to tell you everything that I wrote down about this disease and the autoimmune, how it relates to autoimmune diseases. So much important information, so please listen to me. Okay, so firstly, the way that I discovered that it's not that my low hormones, low estrogen, it's not the root cause, is because I'm only 33. So even if I would enter into the perimenopause, which some women do, perimenopause is not menopause. It can take like 10 years to actually experience menopause, but it's just the period where you start that journey into the menopause. So even if that would have happened to me, the first hormone that would have to reduce is not estrogen but progesterone. The first hormone that gets reduced when women enter this phase of their lives is progesterone. And for me, I have all the symptoms, many symptoms of estrogen reduction and not progesterone. So that was what triggered me to look into my thyroid problem. And then, of course, I read that thyroid is responsible for regulation of hormones. And so it's the thyroid. I believed that it was the thyroid that caused the reduction of estrogen, and then I did the blood test and I was correct. It was the thyroid, and actually using estrogen is doesn't address the issue, but for hyperthyroidism, estrogen actually can address the issue, and I will tell you later why, but it won't eradicate the root cause. So that's how I discovered that it's not the hormones that, not estrogen or progesterone that's causing the problem, but the thyroid gland for me. So the spiritual cause I've already addressed, so I will try now to do everything more slowly, because upon inspiration I just act, I don't wait, and that's another extreme. I have to, it's good that I act, but I have to do it in a methodical, in an organized way, rather than doing everything as soon as I think of it. So that's another extreme. Most people don't have this problem. That's why much fewer people have hyperthyroidism. Most people have the opposite problem, where they don't act. So that's the hypothyroidism. So I need to be totally present, accept the present moment, don't try to do things fast, but just relax into the present moment and slow down. And when I do that, straight away the energy leaves. So I'm balancing the energy because I have excess of it. I can throw chakra if it's too active. It means I can be too outspoken. Again, another extreme. One extreme is not expressing yourself. Another extreme is too much expressing yourself. And in our society, this is considered correct, the correct way of existing, but actually it's another imbalance. And with hyperthyroidism, stress needs to be absolutely avoided. And again, I don't have many of the symptoms because I'm living a very healthy life. So I don't have much stress in my life, but if you have stress, you must reduce it, and plenty of relaxation and meditation is actually very helpful when you have this condition. And what I found out, I was looking at the main cause of hyperthyroidism, and there's so much information about hypothyroidism, but very little about hyperthyroidism. So basically, I found out that since we don't have problems with thyroid gland producing hormones, it actually produces excess of hormones. There is not enough of thyroid stimulating hormone. And so I found out that hypothalamus produces thyrotropin releasing hormone, which stimulates the anterior pituitary gland to produce TSH. So for our condition, most health websites address only hypothyroidism, and actually it's very dangerous because they apply, some of them apply the same cures for a hypothyroidism as they do for hyperthyroidism. It's the same, but actually these are the opposite conditions. So you can't, for example, use thyroid supplements because they will just continue stimulating your thyroid gland, and it's already excessively producing hormone. So basically, if you're looking at how it all works, you realize that it's it could be the fault of hypothalamus or pituitary gland, because they're responsible for the production of TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. So as I said, hypothalamus produces thyroid releasing hormone, which stimulates the anterior pituitary gland to produce TSH. So for us, this is the problem, because it's not enough of TSH that is being produced. So the way that I see the situation is that either there's a problem with hypothalamus or pituitary gland. So the acupressure, for example, should be done on these two, hypothalamus and pituitary gland. They have to be stimulated and not the thyroid gland, because the thyroid gland is already producing too much of the hormone. So this is something very important, because all the yoga poses and acupressure, they basically just continue stimulating the thyroid gland, and it's good for hypothyroidism, but it's bad for hyperthyroidism. And I've also found out that a lot of the times it's the autoimmune disease that's responsible for the malfunctioning of the thyroid gland. And our autoimmune disease is often one of the signs is inflammation. So if you get any kind of inflammatory disease, this is the autoimmune disease sign. Like, for example, diabetes 1, rheumatoid, I don't know how to pronounce it, rheumatoid arthritis, then dementia, then inflammation of the gut. There are so many, more than 80 diseases that are autoimmune diseases. So basically the body attacks itself, and so many people with hyperthyroidism, they will have autoimmune issues. And basically autoimmune disease, spiritual cause, firstly, what is autoimmune disease? Autoimmune disease is when the body is attacking itself. So now the spiritual cause of that is that you are your own law. Do as thou wilt. Your willpower is very strong, but you might not listen to the universe about what you're supposed to do in life. So this is so interesting. It basically, the body starts listening not to the universe, which knows the best about how to, and I'm not telling, I'm not telling that this is the cause of all hyperthyroidism issues, but it's one of the causes. Could be autoimmune diseases. But there are other causes of hyperthyroidism, which could be, for example, being exposed to radiation, like I was born with it. But a huge cause is autoimmune diseases. Other causes could be Graves' disease, when your eyes pop and the skin becomes orange color. There are many other symptoms. There could be also hot nodule or toxic multinodular goiter. So you may start seeing some kind of like bumps on your thyroid gland. This is another cause of hyperthyroidism. Another cause is excessive intake of thyroid hormone. So for example, if you have a hypothyroidism and you were over medicated, you might actually develop hyperthyroidism. So another cause. Another cause is abnormal secretion of TSH, as I said, to stimulate hypothalamus and pituitary gland. Another cause is thyroiditis, inflammation of the thyroid gland. And another cause is excessive iodine intake. So all these are the possible causes. And autoimmune disease is just one of the causes, but a very big one. So I'm going to address its spiritual cause, which is that the body's white corpuscles, if I pronounce it right, no longer take the orders of the universe, but they take orders of some other intelligence. And so they do what they are told, not by the universe, but another intelligence. And so they might decide to attack your joints and you will develop a rheumatoid arthritis. They might decide to attack your gut. Vegans deciding to eat what they want rather than what they are supposed to eat, so that the body can sustain itself. Rheumatoid arthritis, you decide what action to take rather than allowing the universe to direct your actions. Alzheimer's disease, any kind of mental inflammatory problem of the brain, you decide what thoughts to think rather than allowing the universe to direct your thinking process. So autoimmune diseases, you do what you want rather than allowing the universe to take over and direct you. Very important. So many people suffer from autoimmune diseases these days, and this is the spiritual cause. Eliminate it, it's going to resolve. The physical way to reduce inflammation in the body, which is one of the signs of autoimmune diseases, there are some things that you can do, like high vitamin D intake, no carbs, no sugar, mostly keto diet, eating lots of meat, fish oils, and also if you have hyperthyroidism, you have to totally, as much as possible, to avoid iodine. And iodine is everywhere these days. A high iodine source is milk. You drink a glass of milk every day and you will get more than you're supposed to of iodine. So it's very difficult for us with hyperthyroidism to avoid iodine, because actually it's everywhere and we have excess of it, because iodine is required for the production of the thyroid hormone, which we are already producing excess of. So one of the ways of reducing the symptoms of hyperthyroidism is the reduction of iodine intake. And it's not the problem in milk. Milk itself should not actually have it, but the commercial milk has it because the cattle receive plenty of iodine, and of course then we get it in milk. But if you drink milk from a farm that you know they don't use iodine, that's, you can drink as much as you want, it's safe. The same applies to eggs. If you grow your own chickens and don't feed them iodine, then you can eat eggs safely. But if you buy just commercial eggs, you cannot eat the yellows of the eggs, but only the whites, because the yellows contain a lot of iodine. You cannot eat salt with iodine, so that means that probably you will not be able to eat as much as you like in restaurants, because you never know, maybe they use iodized salt. So no dairy, commercial dairy, no iodized salt, no seafood, and no butter, no soy. But it's safe to eat beef, chicken, and other things that don't contain iodine are unsalted nuts, black chocolate without milk, tea, coffee, but If it's rice, potatoes, beef, chicken, this is okay to eat. So to reduce inflammation in the body, it's required to have high vitamin D. You can check for that and take supplements if you don't get it, because it's responsible for regulating immune system. Then many people experiencing inflammation have poor omega-6-3 ratio, and this can only be restored by meat diet, by taking, for example, omega-3 fish oil, because vegan sources don't have that particular omega-3 that we need to restore the balance. It has one type of omega-3, but it won't restore the balance. We must reduce as much as possible the eating of processed foods because they are high in omega-6, further imbalancing this ratio in our bodies. We need to take vitamin B complex, and we need to do grounding because grounding reduces inflammation in the body. So if you're in a village standing on the ground, that is excellent way to reduce body inflammation, or like walking in the sea. But if you're in the city, there might be problems even grounding yourself there if it's a very developed city because of the wires underground and so forth. So it's best to do it in a totally natural place. Also, you should reduce foods intake which cause inflammation, and sometimes you may not even know which foods cause inflammation to you unless you test for that. And okay, I will also tell you the medical ways of dealing with hyperthyroidism, which are barbarous. I can't believe it. Feels like we live in Middle Ages when I hear about the ways that doctors, medical establishment deals with hyperthyroidism. So 3 ways of them dealing with this problem is: first, immunosuppressive medication, giving you, I don't know if I pronounce it right, immunosuppressing medication. So what that does is then it suppresses the immune system of the body. Then you can get any kind of disease. This is such a stupid way to deal with it, but that's how medical establishment deals with this problem. The second way, radioactive iodine. So basically they give you to ingest toxic iodine, and because the thyroid gland always takes it takes that faulty toxic iodine, and then that iodine destroys the thyroid gland. And the third way of dealing with it is just cutting it out. I mean, seriously, I think it just equals the ways of surgical treatments of Middle Ages. Nothing much has changed. I mean, what kind of people, totally disconnected from how the body works, came up with this? The body is the whole system. It's interrelated. We have to help the body to treat the problem. The body is intelligent, rather than just cutting this thing out. I mean, this is crazy. I can't believe it. It's just really, I don't have any words for how the medical establishment treats this problem. So I shared with you everything that I found out about this problem. I hope it was useful to you, and I will keep updating you about my progress. Since I had this problem since birth, I have no idea if I will be able to raise the levels of the thyroid stimulating hormone, which is very low for me. It's 0.073. But and I really don't like giving my blood. I don't even go to doctors, let alone allow people to take out my blood. I still have a little bit of mark because I got this taken yesterday. Oh, I don't like giving blood. This is the worst for me, but because I have this problem, after probably around 3 months, I will do all I can to reduce this problem by understanding, like working on the spiritual causes of it and reducing the offending foods. But again, I'm traveling, so sometimes I will have to eat in restaurants, but I will try to stay off sugars. And I forgot, oh no, I told you that you have to stay off sugars and carbs as much as possible. Avoid drinking milk, eat only egg whites. So I will do everything I can to reduce iodine intake and to work on this problem by addressing its causes, working on that, as I told already, everything. And then I will have to do the blood test probably 3 months after and see if my TSH level has risen. I have no idea. I had it since birth, but I will see. Maybe I can affect it. And although I don't have many negative side effects of that because I have plenty of energy, but I can't sleep. That's that's negative effect. I feel the dryness of the throat. And I feel that my eyes, there is too much, that here the eye area is dry. I do use creams, but definitely there is dryness in my eye area. So this is again a symptom. So these are not like big symptoms, but they are symptoms, and obviously the body has imbalance, and I'm going to try to solve it, and I'm going to update you about my progress. So hopefully this was useful to some of you. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Take care.